Greetings, citizens of the Imperium. It is I, Damon, aka Wellywood Wargaming, back with a gang guide for Spyrers. The moment you've all been waiting for, well I have anyway, since 95, when I used to play against my friends Spyrers and get my absolute arse kicked every single time with my Escher gang. Now they're back with Hive Secundus. We have a fully fledged gang now with miniatures to boot, not just the Horus Spyrer suit that we get in the Hive Secundus box set. We've now got the actual fully fledged gang of 4, 5, maybe even 6 types of Spyrers for your gang here. Now, this is going to be quite a big video, and I'm sure you'll want me to get to the point of all the stats and stuff. I'm going to keep things as least waffly as I possibly can, but if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I can go off in tangents, so I do apologize, but I'm sure you can already gauge the amount of passion I have for Necromunda, so please do like, share, subscribe, check out the Patreon as well to keep me doing more of this type of content. Anyway, Spyrers, I think and I hope I'm the first one out there in the universe of YouTube doing a gang guide on Spyrers. I thought I would try and get there before anyone else did. Same with the Malstrain Gene Stealers, so there will be another video going up for the Malstrain Gene Stealer gang as well. Spyrers are, of course, Uphive nobles who are trying to impress mummy and daddy by fitting themselves out in the latest gear and heading down into the depths of Hive Secundus in search of prey to earn their stripes. Now, I'm not going to go into too much of the lore of the Spyrers here because you can read all about that in the Book of Desolation or even in Hive Secundus book as well. But we're going to get straight into it because I am known to waffle. Now, the first thing you're going to want to look at is the miniatures. Now, the miniatures are available in 2 ways. You can get the 2 Horus inside the the new Hive Secundus box set. They are fantastic. You're only ever going to need 1. It'd be very unlikely for you to field 2 of them unless you're mental. But you can get all the other Spyrers in a separate box set. That is the Jakara, Yeld, Malkadon, the Spire Hunt Leader, and of course, going back to the Hive Secundus box set, you can also get their special unique beastie, the pet, which is the Caryatid Prime, which everybody loves, and is awesome, by the way. We're going to get into that shortly. So gang composition now. So Spyrers are very different to all of the other gangs in the game so far. They are the most elite. They are far more elite even than Venators or Ogryns or whatever. These guys operate in teams of 2, 3, or 4 at an absolute push. They are absolutely an elite team, and the rules go with that very, very nicely. Now, there is a lot to get through here. The first thing that I'm going to talk about here is gang composition. So what you normally have in gangs in Necromunda is the Gang Fighter X rule being more than half of the total numbers of fighters in the crew. That sounds a very long-winded way of saying it. Ignore that completely because it doesn't apply to Spyrers, basically. So ignore what I said there. Unspent credits when you found the gang are completely lost. You can't just keep some and carry them over like you can with normal gangs. Credits, you must use all of them, and you're going to need all of them as well. No alliances may be made at all with Spyrers because, quite frankly, they're not interested in forming alliances either because they're all powerful, and any sort of allies are going to be terrified of these guys anyway because they are just absolute freaks. Also, there are no hangers-on that I'm aware of that actually have specific rules to go along with Spyrers. So it does say here in the rule book, the Book of Desolation, that there are no hangers-on currently for Spyrers. That may change. There may be a hanger-on at a later point that you can use with Spyrers. So in campaigns, Spyrers do behave quite differently to all of the other gangs. They may not earn credits during the campaign, only in downtime. So downtime is the gap that you have. Depending on the type of campaign that you play, downtime gives you a certain amount of credits to spend. You can get that for your Spyrers, but you don't get any credits from the rewards in each scenario, and you don't get any credits from trading or anything like that. So no credits, you are out on your own. The only time Spyrers may recruit is through the unique Terror mechanic, which I'm going to explain later on. Now, Terror is a different mechanic that is solely unique to Spyrers. During downtime, Spyrers operate slightly differently, but they get the same amount of cash boost injection during that downtime as the other gangs in the campaign. However, they may exchange weapons and war gear, purchase additional war gear, remove all glitches from a fighter for 100 credits, and hire one or more exotic beasts, in this case the Caryatid Prime, which we'll talk about later. Unspent creds are completely discarded, so again, you've got to spend those credits, and Spyrers cannot trade, sell, or dispose of captives at all during a campaign. Territories are slightly different for Spyrers as well. You can contest and challenge as other gangs, but they act kind of differently. The only territory they may gain boons from is the Spyrer base camp. Now, the Spyrer base camp is a little bit like the Palanite precinct. It is unique entirely to the Spyrers. The base camp does this. One Spyrer post-battle may perform post-battle actions even if in convalescence. The base camp can never be lost. So there's no money earned from this, no other boons, but that is a pretty good one. Okay, so talking about that terror level, this is a unique mechanic purely for Spyrers, and it is awesome. So it starts at 1, and it's kind of similar to rep in some ways. You still have rep, but you also have terror level on top, and it starts at 1. So in the upgrade gang roster step of post-battle, terror level goes up according to the following table. Now there are 3 options here. So 1 is censure, so you get +1 terror if at least 4 enemies or vehicles are taken out of action, and you can only use this once per battle, if that makes sense. 2 is cull the leadership. This is also +1 terror. Enemy leader or champion was taken out of action in the game. You can do this as many times as you like, so if you take out 4 or 5 enemy leaders or champions, then you get +4 or 5 in terms of your terror. The last one, number 3 here, is Lightning Raid, which is also +1. Enemy fighter taken out of action in the first game round. This can only be claimed once as well. Pretty damn cool though. And the benefits of terror are as follows as well. And this goes up and down, very, very similar to your rep. If you have 1 to 4, nothing at all. You don't get any boon from it. If you have 5 to 9 in terror, you get a free Caryatid Prime worth, I believe, 90 credits. If you get 10 to 14, you get a free 300 credits worth of Spyrer and all their gear, up to 300 credits. 15 to 19, you get one additional Spyrer can perform post-battle actions even if in convalescence each time, so an additional one to the one that you get with your Spire base. And if you have 20 plus terror, you get a free 400 credit worth of Spyrer as well, so pretty fantastic. So the Spyrer special rules here. Reflex enhancers. This is unique to all Spyrers, not to the Caryatid Prime. This means that every single Spyrer in your gang, this is the most awesome one, gets 2 activation tokens. So every single fighter in the whole of Necromunda, the game, gets only 1 activation marker. This means that they can only go once per game turn. However, Spyrers get 2, which means they can go twice each game turn. So giving you a real feel of the elite nature of these guys. So you can really do some interesting tactical stuff here. Sure, you're going to get absolutely outnumbered and mobbed by a Cawdor gang, but you've got that extra activation. Now you can do that one after the other. You could space it out and do some real tactical shenanigans, and I cannot wait to really get down with my tactical chess brain and figure out how best to play Spyrers with this kind of mechanic. It's just fantastic. The next one is Masters of the Hunt. You may never become captured, you may never become subject to side effects or become addicted to chems at all, and you are only ever placed pinned and prone if an attack actually gets through and causes damage. So if damage is rolled, if a wound is taken or a flesh wound or a damage dice is rolled at all, you are prone and pinned, unless of course you have Nurse of Steel or something on top of this, which is absolutely possible. But that's just fantastic. You don't get pinned by las gunfire, so that is just an excellent thing. It just means that you don't get those gangs of just Escher gangers with 5 credit las guns pinning you, because that would be a complete waste of all of the unique gear you've got. The next thing is kills. You have a kill count for each Spyrer, and this is another unique mechanic for Spyrers, similar to the Terror thing, but slightly different. This basically goes alongside XP. You still earn XP as normal, and you can still gain skills and advancements, but kills, what these do, they unlock suit evolution, and this is the real fun part. So, like I said at the beginning, you're going to want to spend those creds in the beginning to fully optimize your gang, because you're not going to be able to keep buying stuff. The way that you keep on improving is through, of course, skills and leveling up through XP, but also through kill count, and this is far more important for the sake of Spyrers. On a 1, on a d6 result of 1, combat neuroware, the hunting rig links up additional neuroware, which sharpens the Spyrer's fighting skills, increase the Spyrer's weapon skill or ballistic skill characteristic by 1 to a maximum of 2+. And that is plus 20 credits. If you roll a 2, you get heightened reactions. The hunting rig's reflexes sharpen significantly so they can react with incredible speed, increase the Spyrer's initiative characteristic by 1 to a maximum of 2+. This is plus 10 credits value. On a 3, we get improved motive power. The hunting rig's power output for movement is boosted, increasing its speed. The Spyrer's movement characteristic is increased by 1 to a maximum of 8 inches. Very fast. On a 4, we get thickened armor. The hunting rig's armor thickens and hardens, providing greater protection to the Spyrer. Increase the Spyrer's armor save by 1 to a maximum of 2+. And on a 5 to 6, we get hunting rig augmentation. The hunting rig improves the power supply to one of its systems and brings additional functions online. Pick one weapon or piece of war gear carried by the Spyrer and increase its augmentation level by 1. If the new augmentation would increase a characteristic beyond its maximum, increase the augmentation level by an additional 1, and this is plus 20 credits as well. If a roll on the power boost table would increase a characteristic beyond its maximum, treat the result as the hunting rig augmentation instead. So the next thing to think about, and there are a lot of rules to get through here, I know, but the next thing is the Spyrer hunting rig glitches. Now this is slightly different to an injury table. Instead of rolling on the standard injury table that you have for everybody else, in Necromunda, you get some special treatment here as well. Now, what you do is roll a d66 on the hunting glitches table, hunting rig glitches table here, and the following, I'll read out the following table here. So 11, we have lesson learned. The Spyrer goes into convalescence and gains d3 XP. 12 to 26, we have superficial damage. Despite being incapacitated, the Spyrer's hunting rig successfully maintains all systems and preserves the fighter inside. The Spyrer misses the rest of the battle, but recovers in time to perform post-battle actions. Convalescence on a 31 to 36, as normal. 41, we get humbled. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1 and reduce their leadership characteristic by 1. The next one is anxiety suppression damaged. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1 and reduce their cool characteristic by 1. 43 is neural feedback. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1 and reduce their intelligence characteristic by 1. 44 is Vox Ghosts. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1 and reduce their willpower characteristic by 1. 45 is the same again, but reduce their armor save by 1. Weakened polymers. 46 is the same again and reduces their initiative by 1. And this is gyroscope destabilization. The next one we have here is jammed articulation. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1, and randomly selected weapon suffers -1 to hit. That's quite interesting. Lots to keep track of here though. 52, disrupted ammo cables. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1, and a random weapon without the melee trait reduces ammo characteristic by 1 to a minimum of 6+. If the Spyrer has no eligible weapons, treat this result as cracked power cell. 53 is system downgrade. Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1, and a random system reduces its augmentation. That one's pretty harsh, level by 1 as well. If the Spyrer has no systems with augmentations, treat it as cracked power cell as well. 54 is cracked power cell. The Spyrer increases their glitch count by 1, and at the end of each battle, the Spyrer participates in, roll a d6. On a 1, the Spyrer goes into convalescence, so a bit like a niggle in Blood Bowl. Reduced power distribution. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1, and reduce a randomly selected weapon's AP by 1. That's interesting. 56, seized locomotors. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1, and reduce their movement characteristic by 1. 61, targeting uplink disruption. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increase their glitch count by 1, and reduce their ballistic skill by 1. 62, reduce their weapon skill by 1. 63, strength by 1, all going into convalescence, by the way. 64 is toughness by 1. 65 is roll d3 times on this table, and 66 is critical overload. The Spyrer is killed instantly, and the attacker gains an additional 1 XP. So pretty harsh, but I love the fact that the attacker gets the 1 XP there as well. That's just awesome. Now we get into the actual meat and potatoes of the gang itself. Now, Spyrers, there are 4 types of Spyrer suit. We have Oris, Yeld, Jakara, and Malkadon. However, there is also the Hunt Master Leader, who is slightly different to the rest of the Spyrers and is a hybrid of all of those suits combined in whichever way you choose. Now, the Spire Hunt Master is your leader, and you must have one in your gang, and they come in at a 180 credit starting cost, which, when you look at it on paper, is cheaper than the rest of the Spyrers. However, you'll find out pretty soon that they end up being very expensive. The stats for these guys is movement 6, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 3+, strength and toughness 3, wounds 3, initiative 3+, attacks 3, and mental stats of 7+, 5+, 6+, and 6+ for leadership, cool, willpower, and intelligence. Special rules here, they are a gang leader, so like I said, you must take one in your gang. Should this fighter die during the course of a campaign or otherwise be removed from the gang, another fighter must be promoted to replace them. So much like any other gang there, they have the special rule for Spire Hunter, so this fighter is subject to the reflex enhancers, Masters of the Hunt, kill count, and Spyrer hunting rig glitches, which we've already gone through here. Experienced Hunter though, this is extra. We have pick one weapon or piece of war gear carried by the Spyrer and increase its augmentation level by 1. This one is unique to the Spire Huntmaster and pretty damn cool. We'll get into the augmentation soon though. Skills. So when the Spire Huntmaster is also bought or created, and recruited should I say, the Spire Huntmaster may choose one skill from their primary skill set. This does not increase the fighter's credit value. So that is the stats for the Spire Huntmaster. In terms of skill access, they get primary is combat, leadership, and shooting. We also have secondaries of cunning and agility. So some pretty good skills access there. Shame you can't get ferocity on the hunt leader straight out the box though. But they are equipped with a sovereign hunting rig. We'll go into the actual equipment soon. A Spire Huntmaster may select any of the options from the Spire Huntmaster war gear options as well. During the course of a campaign, a Spire Huntmaster may only be given additional weapons and war gear during downtime, like all of the other Spyrers as well. Now, for the war gear options, it's quite interesting here. A Spire Huntmaster may take up to two of the following options. You can have Malkadon Slashing Claw with web incisors, grapnel launcher, and drop rig for 60 credits. You can have the Malkadon Toxin Whip with web incisors for 60 credits as well. Also comes with the grapnel launcher and drop rig. You can have the Mirror Shield from the Jakara, 60 credits, the Monomolecular Sword from the Jakara, 50 credits, the Naga Blade from the Jakara for 50 credits, the Yeld Laser Gauntlet for 30 credits, the Yeld Missile Gauntlet for 30 credits. You can also have the following: a Bio Booster for 35 credits, a Chemsynth 15 credits, Photo Goggles, Photo Lumens, a Respirator, Web Solvent, or a Caryatid Prime as your war gear options there as well. So pretty awesome. Looking at the leader there, you can make them a hybrid of all of the other suits minus the Oris. It's kind of annoying that you can't have some of the Oris stuff, but it is what it is. The next thing we've got is the Malkadon Spire Hunter. This is the sneaky, webby, spider-like one. Note these are all actually listed as champions. They are basically champions because they've got more than one wound, but you can have as many of them in your gang as you can afford. Now, the Malkadon Spire Hunter, the sneaky boy himself, comes in at 240 credits, which I believe is the cheapest of the few here. When recruited, the Malkadon Spire Hunter may also choose one skill from their primary skill set. So all of the Spyrers can have one extra skill, just like a champion. Their skill access is as follows as well. They get primary of combat, cunning, and shooting, interestingly there. Ferocity and agility as secondary. So I think that's the same minus the leadership as the leader there. In terms of equipment, the Malkadon Spire Hunter is equipped with a Malkadon Hunting Rig, Drop Rig, Grapnel Launcher, paired Web Incisors, and paired Malkadon Slashing Claws included in their starting cost. A Malkadon Spire Hunter may also select any of the options from the Malkadon Spire Hunter War Gear options. During the course of a campaign, the Malkadon Spire Hunter may only be given additional weapons or war gear during downtime. So the stats for the Malkadon here are slightly different to the Hunt Leader. We have a movement of 7, so he's a little bit faster. Weapon skill of 3+, so not quite as good in close combat. Ballistic skill 3+, strength and toughness 3, wounds of 2, initiative 3 up, attacks 2, leadership 7, cool 5, willpower 6+, and intelligence 6+ as well. So a little bit faster, not quite as tough or as punchy, with less attacks, less wounds, and less weapon skill there as well. But a little bit more sneaky, especially with the grapnel launcher there. I really like that. You can also swap out your slashing claws, which aren't quite as good actually as the for the toxin whips, which we'll go into in a bit more detail. But you can replace the slashing claws with paired toxin whips. Very nasty indeed. We can also be equipped with a bio booster, a chem synth, photo goggles, and a respirator, web solvent, or a caryatid prime there as well. So that's the Malcadon. Much more sneaky. We're going to get into the weapons and the tactics with these guys in a bit, but that's the Malcadon, the most cheapest of the bunch so far. So now we've got the Big Daddy Oris. Now this guy is pretty much effectively the brute of the bunch. This one is the big tanky, just massive unit that we've got here, the Oris Spy Hunter, and also the most expensive, clocking in at 350 credits. Same special rules as everyone else. You can have a skill when you're recruited, and the skill choices here are primary of brawn, combat and shooting, with ferocity and agility as secondaries. The stats are as follows. We've got movement 5, so the slowest so far. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, the same as the Malcadon. Strength 3, also the same, but toughness 4. So this guy's the only one with toughness 4. Wounds 3 though, so lots of wounds there. Initiative 3 up. 2 attacks, leadership 7+, cool 5+, willpower 6+, intelligence 6+. Now, the Oris's gear here, you can replace your power talons and Oris power fists for 50 credits, which is pretty cool. But you can also replace your 2 bolt launchers with Volkite discharges for free, or 2 disintegration matrix for 60 credits. We'll get into those a bit later. You can also have a bio booster, photo goggles, photo lumen, a respirator, web solvent, or caryatid prime as well. The Oris Spy Hunter is equipped with an Oris hunting rig, Oris power talons, and 2 bolt launchers. Again, we'll get into those shortly. And that's all included in that whopping 350 cost there. An Oris Spy Hunter may select any of the options from the Oris Spy Hunter War Gear options. So that's the Oris, absolute beast. And it's really, really hard to try and squeeze more than one Oris into a starting list, if I'm honest. Right then, the next one is the Swoopy Winged Boy. You can see that these are all quite unique and different, and the Yeld is awesome. Yeld Spy Hunter, 220 credits, so actually I think cheaper than the Malcadon. I thought the Malcadon was the cheapest, but no. This one is quite different in the way that it operates. It's certainly much more of a shooty, swoopy, sneaky, snipey boy. We've got a movement of 7+, which is fantastic. Weapon skill 4+, though, so not very good in close combat. 2+ ballistic skill, fantastic. Strength and toughness 3. 2 wounds, initiative 3+, attacks 2, leadership 7, cool 5+, willpower 6+, intelligence 6+. Same sort of gear, same, you can choose a skill for the Yeld as well, and the skill access here is agility as primary, cunning as primary, and shooting as primary, so 3 of the best ones there, but combat and ferocity as secondary there as well. The Yeld Spy Hunter is equipped with a Yeld hunting rig, paired Yeld laser gauntlets, and Yeld wings included in its starting cost. You can swap out for free the paired laser gauntlets for the paired missile gauntlets, which again we'll go into in a bit more detail later on. You can also have the bio booster, photo goggles, photo lumen, respirator, web solvent, and a caryatid prime for this guy too. But as you can see, the Yeld is certainly the fastest and most maneuverable of the bunch. All right, so the last of the bunch is the Jakara, and honestly, it didn't used to be my favorite. I think this one used to be my least favorite, but now might be my actual favorite. The Jakara is the close combat specialist of the bunch. Well, the most agile and fast, hard-hitting sort of glass cannon anyway. The Jakara Spy Hunter is 250 credits, so a little bit more expensive than some of them, and the stats are as follows. We have a movement of 6, a weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 4+, strength, toughness 3, wounds 2, initiative 3+, attacks 3, leadership 7+, cool 5+, willpower 6+, and intelligence 6+ as well. So mental stats for all of these guys are exactly the same. In terms of the skill access, we get brawn, combat, and cunning as primary, with ferocity and agility as secondary. Now, the Jakara Spy Hunter comes with the Jakara hunting rig, mirror shield, and monomolecular sword, but you can swap them out for the following options. We have a Naga blade, which is free, and you can also be equipped with a bio booster, photo goggles, photo lumen, a respirator, web solvent. So as you can see, of all of the Spyrers, they've got very, very unique, different sort of ways of playing. So we've got the Malkadon, which sneaks around webbing people. We've got the Jakara, which runs in and slashes people with a very, very fast, hard-hitting attacks. We've got the Oris, which is soaking up the damage as a big tank. And we've also got the Yeld as well, flying and long-distance range and ballistic skill. So 4 very, very different ones. I'm sure most of you will want to include one of each of those in your starting gang builds. Right then, so what do these hunting rigs actually do? We're going to go through each of the actual pieces of equipment that come with the Spyrers. The first one is the Oris hunting rig. What the Oris hunting rig does is grant the wearer a 4+ armor save, so this the same as light carapace armor, but also a 6+ field armor save as well. With augmentation at tier 1, you get to increase the field armor save to 5+ from 6+, which is fantastic. Tier 2 augmentation, increase the field armor save to 4+. So you can have a 4+ save and a 4+ field armor save as well. The Oris Power Fists, we get tier 1 augmentation, you add the pulverized trait. Tier 2, you can increase the AP characteristic to -2. And tier 3 augmentation on those, you can increase the damage characteristic to 3, which is disgusting. For the Power Talons, tier 1 augmentation, add the rending trait. Tier 2 augmentation is the damage is increased to 2, and Tier 3 augmentation increase the strength characteristics to strength +2. For the Sovereign hunting rig, now this is the Leader's hunting rig, this one grants them a 5+ equivalent to mesh armor save, as well as the 6+ field armor save as well. So 2 saves for this one too. For Tier 1 augmentation, we increase the field armor save to 5+, and Tier 2 augmentation increase the wearer's strength characteristic by 1, which is pretty nice. So strength 4 there. For the Volkite discharges, these ones for the Tier 1 augmentation, you increase the damage characteristic by 2. Tier 2 augmentation, you increase the AP characteristic by -1. And Tier 3 augmentation, increase the long range characteristic to 12 inches. For the web incisors and paired web incisors, Tier 1 augmentation is increase the long range characteristic to 10 inches. Tier 2 is increase the strength characteristic to 4. And Tier 3 is increase the long range characteristic to 12 inches. Now the bolt launcher that comes with the Oris, for the Tier 1 augmentation, you can increase the damage to 2, just to make it much more like a bolt gun. Tier 2 augmentation, increase the AP characteristic to -2, and Tier 3 replace the Rapid Fire 1 trait with Rapid Fire 2. Very, very nasty, more like a squat bolter there with -2 AP. Really disgusting. The Disintegration Matrix, Tier 1 augmentation, remove the Scarce trait, fantastic. Tier 2 augmentation, increase the AP characteristic to -3, and Tier 3 augmentation, increase the damage characteristic to 3 as well. Jakara hunting rig here, this one grants the wearer a 5+ armor save. No field armor save here though, but you do get the mirror shield with this as well, of course. Tier 1 augmentation on the suit, you increase the wearer's strength by 1, which is great. Increase the wearer's attack characteristic by 1 for Tier 2 augmentation as well. The Malkadon hunting rig gives the wearer a 5+ armor save as well, exactly the same as the Jakara one. Tier 1 augmentation, increase either the wearer's ballistic skill or weapon skill by 1, which is excellent. You get a choice there. Tier 2 augmentation, increase the armor save to 4+. So you get better armor on that one as well, which you're probably going to need, as I think the Malkadon is probably the most squishy, apart from, in fact, yeah, is the most squishy, I'd say. Malkadon Slashing Claw and paired Malkadon Slashing Claws. Tier 1 augmentation, increase the AP to -3. That's gross. Tier 2 augmentation, increase the damage characteristic to 2. And Tier 3 augmentation, increase the strength to strength +1. For the Yeld hunting rig, we have the following. The Yeld hunting rig grants its wearer a 5+ armor save. In addition, if the wearer does not move during their activation, then until the start of their next activation, any ranged attacks targeting them suffer a -1 to hit modifier. The Tier 1 augmentation on this one is increase the wearer's movement by 1, which is really, really fast. We also have Tier 2 augmentation, which ranged attacks targeting the wearer suffer a -1 to hit modifier, even if the wearer moved during their activation. The Yeld Laser Gauntlet and paired Yeld Laser Gauntlets for Tier 1 augmentation, we increase the AP characteristic to -2, increase the long range characteristic to 24 inches with Tier 2 augmentation, and Tier 3 augmentation increase the strength characteristic to 4. Very nice. on the Yelled Missile Gauntlet and paired Yelled Missile Gauntlets on Tier 1 augmentation, we increase the AP by -1. Tier 2 augmentation, increase the strength characteristic to 6. Tier 3 augmentation, add the Blast 3-inch trait, which is just fantastic, makes it much more like frag missiles. The Yelled Wings, an Spyrer equipped with Yelled Wings ignores all terrain and may move freely between levels without restriction and can never fall. They may not, however, ignore impassable terrain. So this is exactly the same as your Vansar surfboard. They can fly. Tier 1 augmentation on the wings, add the parry trait, which is awesome. Tier 2 augmentation, increase the damage to 2. And Tier 3 augmentation, add the knockback trait. So you can do swoopy drive-bys with these guys. The Malkadon Toxin Whip. Tier 1 augmentation, improve the long-range accuracy modifier to nothing. Tier 2 augmentation, add the shield breaker trait, which is just awesome. And Tier 3, treat the toughness of any fighters hit by a weapon as 1 less for the purposes of Toxin. So almost like using a Chemsynth inbuilt. The Mirror Shield for the Jakara. This is awesome. It's got to be one of my favourite things in the game so far. Tier 1 augmentation, gain a 6+ field armor save against any attack from within the fighter's vision arc. Tier 2 augmentation, increase the long range characteristic to 12 inches. Tier 3 augmentation, gain a 5+ field armor save against any attack from within the fighter's vision arc. This stacks, by the way, with the actual shield as well. The Monomolecular Sword now. Tier 1 augmentation, increase the damage characteristic to 2. Tier 2, increase the AP characteristic to -3. And Tier 3 augmentation, increase the strength characteristic to strength +2. The Naga Blade now, which is probably my preferred option, I have to say. Tier 1 augmentation, add the shock trait. Tier 2 augmentation, increase the AP characteristic to -2. And Tier 3, increase the damage characteristic to 3. So shock, -2 AP and 3 damage on a versatile weapon is absolutely horrifying. Right then, to my favourite part, talking about the weapons that the Spyrers get access to. Now we're going to start with the close combat weapons here, and the Malkadon Slashing Claw, the one that's actually, coming with the Malkadon, is as follows. We have no short range or long range accuracy, strength as the wearer, -2 AP, 1 damage and melee. You can also have the paired slashing claws as well, which are exactly the same, only with paired. So not a particularly great weapon, but obviously the standout thing there being paired, doubling your attacks on the charge and also having -2 AP is pretty great. But the fact that you've got no sort of damage really in there and no extra traits is kind of a bit crap, I suppose. However, you can swap these for free for the Toxin Whips, which I definitely prefer. These are 2-inch versatile and -1 to hit at that versatile range, -2 AP, entangle, melee and toxin. So really, really nice. As we know, Toxin is very, very dangerous, especially with -2 AP and versatile on a guy who's already very, very fast. And of course, you can also have paired Toxin Whips, adding that paired trait to an already very, very scary weapon. The next one is the Jakara weapon here, and this is the Monomolecular Sword that she comes with. This is strength +1, -2 AP, 1 damage, melee, parry, and power. So power weapons are always very, very scary. And of course, with, -2 AP and some of those augmentations that you can get later on, it's a pretty damn decent weapon. You can also swap it out for the Naga Blade, which is versatile, 2 inches, +2 strength, -1 AP and 2 damage. So it's horses for courses, but less AP on the Naga Blade than the Monomolecular Sword, but more damage with 2 damage and also higher strength with strength +2. This one comes with disarm, parry and versatile though. So versatile is just so very good when you've got a very fast maneuverable fighter, but also having parry and disarm on it is just a nice thing to have too. So that's the Malkadon and the Jakara. Let's now look at the big tanky boy, the Oris. Now there are 2 options for the Oris as well, and these come in the Secundus box set. You can either go for the Power Fists, which look more like Power Claws, or you can go for the Power Talons, which are the huge lobster looking crabby things that you get on them. Now I have to say I actually really love the look of the Power Talons. A lot of people don't, but I do prefer the look of the Power Talons myself. It just looks like a giant crustacean, which is pretty cool. The Power Fists though are as follows. We've got strength +2, -1 AP, 2 damage, paired and power. Ugh, yuck, that's going to make mush of anything. But the Power Talons are slightly different. They are strength only +1, but -3 AP, only 1 damage and paired. I just love the -3 AP. It kind of reminds me of a power pick without power. But I think really the power fists are the better weapon there, particularly with all the augmentations and stuff. But I do like the look of the talons a bit more. The last Spyrer close combat weapon, of course, is the Yeld's Wings. These are a close combat weapon, and they are strength +1, -1 AP, 1 damage, melee. That's it. Very, very simple. Not very powerful, but your Yeld shouldn't be in close combat. Okay, now for the fun stuff on the Oris. We have 3 different pistol variants for the Oris. The ones that they actually come with are the bolt launchers, which actually, honestly, overall is probably my favourite. We've got an 8-inch short range, 20-inch long range, so quite a bit of range on this one. +1 to hit out that 8-inch short range though. Strength 4, -1 AP, but only 1 damage. So they aren't quite bolt with the damage, but they are pretty damn good otherwise. But only 1 damage, of course, you can augment them to make them, 2 damage later on down the track. They are, however, 4+ ammo, which is far better than your standard bolt weapon. They are rapid fire 1 and sidearm as well, so pretty damn good in close combat too. The next one, and it's such an awesome name, is the Disintegration Matrix. I have no idea what this is in 40k lore, so comment down below if you know what this is, because I've never heard of it before. 3-inch short range, 12-inch long range, -1 to hit at long range, strength 5, -2 AP, 2 damage, I'm laughing because it's funny, 6+ ammo, and scarce, sever, sidearm, and unstable, unfortunately. So scarce kind of sucks, but you can get rid of that with the augmentation. Sever is absolutely disgusting on a strength 5, -2 AP, damage 2 weapon. It's going to kill anything, but unstable. That really does ruin it for me. I would take this every time if it wasn't for unstable, but I guess a weapon that's that powerful has to have some sort of downside. Unfortunately, unstable is quite a massive downside. So that's the second option. The third option for the Oris is the Volkite Discharger. Also sounds really cool. I think Volkite weapons are in Horus Heresy and stuff, but short range 5 inches, 10-inch long range, no bonuses at short range or long. Strength 5, no AP, 1 damage, 6+ ammo, deflagrate, and sidearm. Now, deflagrate, for every wound that you cause, you get an extra hit. It's pretty cool, the Volkite Discharger. And remember, all of these are sidearms, so you can use them in close combat as well. Pretty nice. Now, the last options are the special weapons. Now, these are the slightly more long-ranged ones, or in some cases a little bit more kooky. And the first one, which is very kooky, is the Mirror Shield. And I have to say, I just love this weapon. This is on the Jakara. I can see myself using this a lot, very tactically. It's just bloody cool. I love using photon flash grenades, and this is very similar. The Mirror Shield is 4-inch short range, 8-inch long range. It's -1 to hit at long range. It's a 3+ ammo. There's no strength, there's no AP, there's no damage. It is an energy shield, so it's -2 to hit in close combat, -1 to hit at range. But it also has flash, so you can shoot flash at people. Like a flash grenade, but not like a grenade. So there's no, you can just target people with a flashing. It's a bit like when you're in school and you're in an exam and you've got a watch and you sort of aim the rebound light off your watch into someone's eye just to annoy them. It's that, basically. That's what the Mirror Shield is. And I just love the idea of it. It's so cool. So you can stun a fighter, flash them, and then come in for the kill afterwards on your second activation. So there's so much to think about with Spyrers and their multiple activations. So that's the Mirror Shield anyway. We then have the web incisors and paired web incisors. 4-inch short range, 8-inch long range, strength 3, 4+ ammo, no AP or damage, but silent and web. The paired adds rapid fire to that, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, web's always disgusting. Of course, it's only strength 3, but if you wound stuff, then it's an instant injury roll. So very nasty, especially if you combine that in the paired version to get off a possible 3 web hits. Really nasty indeed. The Yeld Laser Gauntlet is the sort of default setting for the Yeld here, and it's the most long range of the bunch, really. In fact, I lie. The Missile Gauntlet is longer range, but the Yeld Laser Gauntlet is slightly more accurate with 10-inch short range, 20-inch long range. Really funny ranges on these guys. +1 to hit a short range, strength 3, -1 AP, Damage 1, 3+ ammo and plentiful. So similar to any other las weapon, just with slightly kooky range and -1 AP. It's pretty nice with the -1 AP. You know, you can chew through enforcers a little bit with that. But you've also got the paired version as well, which adds rapid fire, so it makes it a little bit like the the Van Saar gun that they've got as well. However, you can upgrade these or switch them out for the Yelled missiles, which are for free as well, by the way, and I can't see why you wouldn't take them. The missile gauntlet is 15 and 30, short and long range. No minuses to either, or positives, to be honest. We've got strength 5, no AP, damage 1, 4+ ammo, and knockback with the paired version, again gaining rapid fire. You saw the augmentation that you can get on these as well. Strength 5, knockback, rapid fire. Pretty scary, especially at 30 inches. So the Yelled, I think, pretty much every time I'm going to go with the paired missile launchers. Right, let's look at the flying blue baby that is the Caryatid Prime. This one is like a Caryatid, but even bigger and even better. At 90 credits is the exclusive exotic beast for the Spyrers. Movement 6, weapon skill 5+, no ballistic skill, strength and toughness 2, wounds 1, initiative 2+, attacks 1, leadership 7+, cool 6+, willpower 7+, and intelligence 8+. So the stats, not particularly strong there, but that's not the point. These guys are very, very good. So this fighter is subject to the Reflex Enhancer special rule as well. So they also get 2 activations, which goes along with the rest of your Spyrers. I have to say, it'd be a bit weird if they didn't, because it just wouldn't be in sync with everyone else. But here are the things that it comes with. So the Charmed Companion. A Caryatid Prime is able to help their chosen companion avoid damage. Whilst the Caryatid Prime is within 3 inches of a companion, the fighter may re-roll 1 failed armor save and 1 failed ammo test per round. So you can do both of those per round. Really, really, really good. You also have precognition as well. So, for a gift of foresight, the Caryatid Prime enables it to dodge and evade all but the most unexpected attacks. The tremendous precognition grants the Caryatid Prime a 3+ save roll, which is unmodified by any armor piercing. Additionally, a Caryatid Prime may avoid being caught by a blast marker or flame template. If a Caryatid Prime is caught under a blast marker or flame template, the attacker should roll a d6 on a 4 to 6. The Caryatid Prime is hit by the attack. On a 1 to 3, the Caryatid is able to fly clear and leave the model where it is and assume that it is fluttered around to avoid the attack and return to where it was. Also, these guys are flying. They get skill access of a primary on agility, and cunning is a secondary there. Equipment, they do not purchase weapons or war gear, and the Caryatid Prime carries no weapons and will always make unarmed attacks. So the Caryatid Prime there, slightly different to the other Caryatid that we've seen in the game, but for 90 credits you can actually buy one of these, and they're pretty damn awesome. Every round you get to re-roll those stuff. Rerolls is something that I really, really like the idea of in Necromunda. So, in summary, as you can see, I'm very excited by the Spyrers. I think there are so many rules for Spyrers that they are definitely not a beginner gang. I think if you're new to Necromunda and you want to get into Spyrers, maybe play something else first. I think that Spyrers are incredibly complex. You've got to keep track of a lot of stuff. The augmentation, the kill count, the terror level. There are a lot of things to think about with Spyrers. I cannot wait to play them because I'm an experienced Necromunda player. I know that I can keep track of all this stuff, but it is a lot to think about, and there are so many special rules there that the majority of this video is me going through special rules instead of going through tactics and strategy, which I'd really like to do. Perhaps I'll do a part 2 once I've played through a few games with these guys, because they are just so awesome. And I think tactically, if you've got a sort of chess brain, I'm a little bit of a sort of strategist in terms of the way that my brain works. I cannot wait to see what I can do with the multiple activations and stuff, and the shenanigans that you can pull off with these guys. We have so many different play styles through this gang. You could have an all Aurus gang, you could have an all Malkadon gang, but personally, I think one of each is the way to go if you can afford it. Of course, the Aurus is just so expensive that it's hard to fit him in. The leader gets very expensive if you give it the optimal equipment. But I really do like them all. There's nothing about them that I don't like. The augmentation is fantastic. The way that the injuries work in terms of the glitches is just such a great mechanic as well. And of course, the extra boons that you get from the terror and stuff like that. It's just fantastic. So I cannot wait to play these in a campaign. This will be the next gang that I play. I also have to paint them all up like the Teletubbies or the Power Rangers or something. Different colours to differentiate what they all are, because I do feel that Games Workshop's paint jobs on this box, all being the same colour, is kind of a bit of a cop-out, and you can't really tell the character and flavour that each one of these has. And they really, really do have such a distinct character. I think if I had to order them from favourite to least favourite, it's really difficult because I like them all. But I do think out of the 4 types, I really, really like the Jakara. I really do. The Naga Blade and the Flash, the Mirror Shield, are just very, very tasty. That's exactly my kind of gang fighter in Necromunda. I really like the idea of the Yeld as well. I'm not sure how it's going to work in the game, but a long-range sniper with the missile gauntlets, I love the idea of that, while your Horus is just wading through people, smashing them with the power fists. And then you've got your Malkadon, of course, sneaking around in the darkness, giving Nachthgals a run for their money, perhaps not with the Serpent's Fangs, but, webbing people from the shadows with the grapnel rig and stuff. Very Spider-Man indeed. And then, of course, you've got your leader, the Hunt Leader, which is the most interesting of the bunch. And you can really go to absolute town on what you do with that. You can either make the Hunt Leader you could make it a Malkadon Hunt Leader with exactly the Malkadon kit out, or a Jakara one, or both. You could have the Mirror Shield as well as a Yeld Missile Gauntlet, for example. So much choice, so much variation, and so much flavour. I'm just stoked that Games Workshop have done Spyrers justice. Do I think they're going to be too powerful? No, I don't. I think, against... I always use Cawdor as an example. Against someone who knows how to play a Horde gang like Cawdor, like I do, I'd fancy my chances against Spyrers, even with the multiple activations. I just think setting them all on fire is the way to go. Templates against these guys, just douse them with fire, and they're anybody's really. But maybe that's just me thinking out very, very simply. I think I need to go away and have a real in-depth think about strategy with Spyrers, what you can do with them, how you can really meta crunch Spyrers to make some disgusting stuff with all that augmentation and whatnot. I'm sure you can do it. I'd love to know what you think of all this in the comments down below. Of course, if you're hearing this is the first time you've heard of the actual Spyrer stats and stuff. So I'd love to know what you think down below in the comments. So please do fire away as to your initial thoughts and impressions on these gangs, how you might use each fighter, which one's your favorite as well, and which one is your least favorite, and what your typical gang builds that you're going to see as well, because I think I'm going to come back and do a second follow-up video to this with some gang builds and some more strategy involved in there anyway. Trying to keep this video a little bit shorter, but it is now super, super long. So anyway, that's it for me, and I will be back with another video real soon. Peace out.